The world is heating up, but the vibes are locked in. I'm your host, Kaya, and this is the Summer Chronicles. Let's get into it. Yo, welcome back to Check It Out to 5, Side A, Track 4 of our Summer Chronicles. Today, we're stepping into a time machine. I'm 25, which means my formative summer memories don't belong to the 90s or the 2020s. They belong to the absolute unhinged glory days of the 2010s. We're talking about the era of neon tank tops, Vine loops, peak pop EDM radio, and charging our iPod touches before heading to the pool. Dust off your skinny jeans and let's throw it back. Let's get into it. But before we get into this week's episode, let's go into our crazy world check-in. Now, I usually try to keep things balanced, but scrolling through the news this week, my brain is fried. Going on vacation, I kind of just threw everything out the window. But despite everything, it's been quite heavy for all of us, for a lot of us as well. And I know I'm not the only one who's feeling feed fatigue. Like every time you scroll, it's always something negative, and I know we're all tired of seeing the same thing. So today, we're hitting the pause button. Remember when the whole internet would pause just to film a chaotic 30-second Harlem Shake video or do the ice bucket challenge in their front yard? Well, we're bringing that exact unbothered Simple Times energy back for the next hour or so, depends on when I'm tired of talking. But I don't know about you guys, but being a kid in 2010s was something else. I was between the ages of 10 and 16, 17 a little bit. But I remember every summer we would just do something we would do a family activity. So we would do water balloons, we would do dance little challenges and everything. But there was one summer in particular that I always refer to all the time. And that was when Xbox had released the Kinect. And a lot of you may not be old enough to remember this, but the Kinect was it was so much better than the Switch. But imagine Just Dance, but instead of you having to hold a remote, it was just a camera pointed at you that could track every single movement that you had. So my mom had got us a Kinect the Christmas before. And we had games like Dance Central, Just Dance, and Wipeout. Now, Wipeout was our game. It was really my game. I wasn't really that great at it. But Just Dance was my mom's favorite. Dance Central was her favorite as well. So I could be coming from summer camp or she would be getting off work and be like, hey, do you want to play on the Kinect? And she goes, yeah. And we would literally be dancing to so many different songs. There was one song, I think it was on Dance Central, and it was DJ Got Us Falling in Love. And I remember that song because of that game. And there were so many good songs on Dance Central and Just Dance. But I just remember having to hook it up in our den and moving the table around and just dancing for a few hours. And we would always break out into a sweat. And it was one of the greatest workouts, even though I was 11 at the time when this happened. But it was so much fun. And then I wasn't really on social media that much as a kid. But we had this thing called Dub Smash. And Dub Smash was the best way to describe it. It's like TikTok a little bit. But the only difference is that you didn't really see other people's videos unless they posted them. But Dub Smash was full of so many different sounds. Just like on TikTok, how you can take a sound and you can lip sync it, or you could act it out, whatever the case may be. That was literally what Dub Smash was. And there were so many songs on repeat. So you would see the same song, you would hear the same song over and over. And I remember vividly the cheerleader trend that went around during that time, where people would be they would be dressing they would put they would make a unibrow out of mascara or a marker, and they would put a molar on their face, and they would act like they were ugly, and they would be dancing and singing a little bit, and then they would change it to where they would try to wipe it off and do a little transition to where they were looking great or whatever. And that was one big trend on Dub Smash, where everybody was all doing the cheerleader one. And Vine, of course, Vine was early days of TikTok. So you had people like King Bodge. You had the Paul brothers before they became the version that they are now. They were kind of funny back then. Now they're just kind of annoying, but they defined Vine back then. Because you had people in their 20s making kids laugh. And it was some of the stuff now is cringe. But during that time, we enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. And there was like this one guy, he does like magic tricks. I think he still does it to this day, but he would do little illusions like on the screen and everything. And like it kept me entertained for the most part. But that was literally what the 2010s was like. It was cranking, like turning on Just Dance with the Michael Jackson experience. It was creating a Vine, doing a dub smash with your friends. And like I said, we didn't have much social media. Like I think our only options was like the early days of Twitter, the early days of Facebook, and then Instagram had debuted. And I think I got an Instagram the summer of like 2012 or 2011, one of those two. And back then, Instagram was different. So you had like your friends page and everything, like you had your main page and everything. And all you could do on it was like, you could just like stuff and you could comment. And they had this thing where like I said, I'm older, so we had it a little bit different, but we had these little things. It was called like a TBH. And you could like, if someone's like, hey, like it or pick a number and I'd give you a TBH. And sometimes like you would hope like your crush would pick you and you would hope that they would say something nice about you. Sometimes you would get your heart broken and be like, oh, I don't really know you that well, even though you guys have known each other for so long. But you had like TBHs, you had rate me, you had like random stuff like pick a color and I'll be honest about you. It was like a lot. And we're like preteens and teenagers doing this and everybody was doing it. The filters were insane. We all had like different filters for stuff. I think at the time it was like that Rio filter that we currently have right now. But everybody's feed was like that, or they were posting random things. I remember in my early days of Instagram, I was posting like random stuff like I was doing in the day. Like I was going out to church one time, or I was going to Cherry Berry to get froyo. I was, there was one, like I looked back at my archives a lot and I found like this muffin. It was like a blueberry muffin when I was in middle school. And I took a picture of it and I was like, oh, this is like my friend's twin or something. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to call myself cringe, but I was like, yeah, I was literally a child, which I was, but I enjoyed myself because like, even though like I posted random stuff, people liked it. And like, it didn't matter if it was just somebody posting like a fish, like I caught a fish for the day. Like you just posted whatever you did like that day. And it was like some people posted every single day. I didn't post every day, but you had those people that were just constantly on their phone. And sometimes you would get like little celebrities on your feed, like you followed them, but like Instagram was a different time. It fixated more on photos and like, and likes and comments for the most part. And it's not like how it is today where you have like your reels, you have your stories. It was not that complicated. It was literally straight to the point. Take a picture, post it, have fun with it. People were kind of rude at the time, but it didn't like that's any time. But you still had a good time with it. And another thing about the 2010s, even though technology was coming up a little bit, we still had times where we had to print our directions on how to get somewhere. And the only reason I remember that is because my mom would like go on MapQuest and print out directions. Like if we were going to like the Phillips Arena, now it's like State Farm, but like if we were going to Phillips Arena and we had a special like specific parking area, or if we were going up to like Turner Field at the time, we would like she would literally be at work and she would print out the directions and have me in charge of reading the directions. And that is something like I'm glad that like we don't have that anymore, but like it's still useful to have like even now, because it would tell you like, okay, take this exit. Like it would tell you like a certain like mileage or whatever, like in however many miles take this exit. But like you had to kind of do the math yourself because you didn't have it on a screen. You didn't have it as a map. You just had a piece of paper that had a printed thing and you were looking for signs the whole time. So like I said, technology has definitely upgraded a lot, but that was literally the 2010s for me. That was like just being a kid, having to help my mom navigate sometimes, or just dancing with the neighbors or my brother and cousin. Like having a good time was the 2010s. Like even when I think back to it and I try to like reflect on it sometimes, to me, the 2010s has like a different it's so different. Like to me, it has like so much different, like it has like a different color to it. Like there's like, it's more vibrant. It's more it's not washed on how things look today. It's very like colorful because there were so many things going on back then. And we are going to talk about that. But just being able to reset and just pause and think about that era, like that time, like it made life so much more better in my opinion. Like the 2010s, like if I could go back, I would, because that was like my preteen and teenage years, and it was before things had went south. And it's always good to think about, okay, like if I put on a specific song, I instantly go back to that time and I'm like, oh, I remember when this song came out and I was doing this, I was doing that. It restores my youth a little bit. Even though like now, like I work with high schoolers, so I'm like, yeah, I have my youth that way. But like when I find that one song from the 2010s, it takes me back completely and I just get happy again. But there's so many things that we're going to discuss in this episode, and I hope you guys are ready for it. But I just wanted to cleanse our palate from the modern news cycle just for a little bit. But get ready to lock in your picks, open your notes app, and let's enter the time machine. It is time for the 2010 Summer Culture Draft. Now, this draft, there were 5 categories. I'm going to go through many options for you. We have 4 options in each category. You're going to pick one thing from each category, and that is going to be your draft board. If you happen to forget what the options are, we have rewind for a reason, and you can always come back to it. But the whole thing for the first category, this one is going to be my favorite out of all. But this is about the song that didn't just get radio play. It defined the exact temperature, energy, and memories of a specific 2010 summer. The track you couldn't escape at pool parties, on roll down window drives, or blasted from tiny Bluetooth speakers. This is the songs that were on repeat every single day, every second, every minute, every hour. It didn't matter. This song played, it was in your ear for a minute, and then you got sick of it. So, our first song, I'm going to take it all the way back to 2012. This is before everybody started freaking out about the Mayan calendar in December. We're taking it back to one of our best summers. Our first song for the anthem of the summer, it's going to be Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen. Everyone knows this song. Everyone had it on repeat. It was like the ultimate, I like this person. I hope they come back. I hope they reach out to me. I'm going to give them their number. I'm going to give my number to them. I hope they call me. Maybe. But that is our first song. Our second song, it's one of my favorites. And I have a quick story about this song, but this is 2013. This song is Thrift Shop by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. This song was the ultimate, I'm going to take your grandpa's jacket. I'm going to rock it better than how he had it. This song reminded me so much of like spring break of that summer, to where we were going somewhere I think we were going to PCB. And this was like our first summer ever going down to PCB. And we're parked, like we were at a red light. I'm trying to think. I can't fully remember. I think we were playing it in my car. And there was a group of college kids next to us, and they were blasting it as well. And we all started jamming out to the song at the same time, singing it together down the highway. It was such a great time. And every time I think about the song, I think about like how excited we all were, because we were like, oh my gosh, they know that song too. We're all gonna sing it together. And like, keep on, they were like maybe like in their 20s. I'm like 11 at the time, and I'm just getting excited for it. But it was so fun, like just having that moment. But so far we have Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen and Thrift Shop by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, sorry, my bad, I'm thinking of football, my fault. But our third song, it's an absolute banger. You can't go wrong with this song. This song gets played all the time in my car. It gets played at the end of the night when I'm leaving work. This song is Get Lucky by Daft Punk and Pharrell Williams. This was the ultimate crowd pleaser. It's a good song. You cannot go wrong with it. It's so good that if I put it on right now, I would be smiling. I would be just jamming out to it. I'm like, it's such a good vibe. And for our last pick in the anthem of the summer, we have Fancy by Iggy Azalea featuring Charlie XCX. This was in 2014. This was a year after, but 2014 was also good. We had so many good songs from 2010 to 2016, but this song in particular was on repeat. The music video was on repeat. There was Halloween costumes of Iggy Azalea. There was everyone singing, not even singing, they were all rapping Iggy's part because that's how good it was. There was no bad parts in the song. And if you remember the music video, it kind of reminded you of the movie Clueless a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you, I've never really seen Clueless, but we're working on our movie palettes. But this song, it didn't matter if you loved it or you hate it. Charlie's hook was the official soundtrack to the summer of 2014. Now I'm going to repeat everything one more time because I've been rapping, but I'm going to repeat one more time so that you can remember which one you would like to pick. So for this one, you have Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen, Thrift Shop by Macklemore, Get Lucky by Daft Punk, and Fancy by Iggy Azalea. I don't know about you, but for my first pick, I'm going to have to go with Thrift Shop by Macklemore because it's not a bad song. I can still rap it to this day. I love it. It embodies summer in so many ways. But I hope you guys have got a good pick in so far. So with that, category 1 is gone. Now to category 2. Category 2 is going to be the viral summer fashion and aesthetic. It's the iconic fits, the accessories, the aesthetic trends everyone was rocking, taking photos in and posting on Tumblr, Instagram, or VSCO. If you don't know about Tumblr, go Google it. It's not the same anymore, but Tumblr was where you can get your inspiration from. There was quotes on there. There was little things about outfits on there. VSCO was where everybody had posted all of their pictures. And I never really had a VSCO, so I can't really tell you much about what it was. But I remember there was a saying back then about the VSCO girls. And it was the VSCO girls and the turtle straws in the water bottles. Or whatever the case may have been. But this is about the fashion trends of the 2010s. Things were weird. Things were put together that didn't really make sense. It's slowly coming back, but some things just need to die, So for our first one, for all my people that were around during 2013 and 2015, between 2013 and 2015, you have your flower crowns and your fringe. Now, this was here for so long. This was 3 straight summers. Every girl on Instagram looked like she was heading straight to a Lana Del Rey concert in the desert. It was given like Coachella at the time. This was your typical fit. Everybody had the flower crowns. This was if you had Snapchat, you remember the flower crown filter that was on there. I didn't really take part in this, so I wasn't really a fan of it. I'm not really knowledgeable about it, but that is an option for you in this draft. The second one has to be chokers and high-waisted denim shorts. This was short-lived. It was only 2 years, but I have to say, there was a lot of people were wearing a lot of chokers. I remember a lot of my classmates having chokers. And then, the high-waisted denim shorts. And it was the flannel as well. They had, the shorts, and then they threw in, a red flannel on top. And then you had the choker. And then, if you wanted to be extra, you would add the flower crown on top. And that was a whole fit. And apparently the whole fit worked. It worked then. It may not work now. But we all enjoyed it. People enjoyed it. To each their own. As long as you felt good, you look good. But The hot take for this one has to be, if you didn't buy a velvet choker from Forever 21 in 2016, if you don't know what that is, Google it. Google is free. If you did not get a choker from Forever 21, did you even experience mid-2010 summer? I didn't really shop at Forever 21. I shopped at Rue 21. Same thing, but it was slightly cheaper. The clothing, it felt so much different. But I remember Rue 21 had like the jerseys, like everyone was wearing like the Chicago jerseys or like the Knicks jerseys, like the jersey shirts. And that was a time that we could talk about later, but everyone was wearing something Chicago or New York. It was 2010s is like, it's literally like a fever dream when you really think about it. Now, we're moving on to a little bit closer to my graduation year. This is 2017 and 2018, when people were rocking Supreme and Logo Mania streetwear. This is where young adult summer style switched from casual beachwear to flex culture. People were wearing oversized graphic tees. They were wearing fanny packs with a crossbody. And they had this type of energy where we called them like F-boy energy back then. But this style was more like you couldn't really afford Supreme. I remember people would wear it was some type of clothing brand that Tyler the Creator had. It was like him and his his whole group. It was like the OF, I think that it was called. But people were wearing that. I remember the Galaxy wear. That was such a big thing. And I don't understand how we got so fixated on Galaxy. Like, I would never forget. There was this one guy in high school where I'm sure he had like many pairs of the same outfit, but I saw it like every single day. He may not have, I don't know. But I remember so vividly, he had this hoodie. It was a black hoodie with like the galaxy, like the purple blue galaxy mix with the stars on it. And then he had the pants to match. And I said, you're lying. You have the jacket and the pants. And don't let it be hot, because he would take the jacket off and he would have a t-shirt. And I'm like, you're joking. There's no way you have the whole fit down. You're a walking galaxy. And there was a weird fixation as well with the Galaxy cat. And it was like a giant cat with like these like rounded sunglasses with the galaxy in it. When I say, like, I'm literally telling you guys, like, the 2010s with the fever dream, that like, when I explain it, I sound crazy. But people were like wearing like knockoff Supremes a lot too. They were like, oh yeah, I got my Supreme fanny pack. Look at it. It wasn't even real. It literally said super on it. And I'm like, that's not Supreme. Supreme is with an E, not an A, but okay. But our last pick for this one is going to be between 2010 and 2012. This is the neon wafer sunglasses and tank tops. When you think of neon, a lot of you guys are in high school, so you guys should know what this is, because you guys have this a lot on your spirit days or whatever for football. You have like your neon night. We wore this on a daily. You had your neon pink sunglasses. You had like an orange neon tank top. You had some blue shorts to go, like some jean shorts to go with it. You had neon yellow socks. It was literally a walking highlighter. And nowadays, kids make it as like, high schoolers are doing it now to where they're like, oh, it's like neon night, where they're dressing all out in neon. And I'm like, that it's now a trend. Okay. It's a yearly trend that every single kid in America is doing. At least we have an impact on something with clothes. That's not the flower crowns or anything, but we wore the hell out of anything neon. You would have thought like we were going on like a paint war or something on how much neon we had. And don't let us go to a bowling alley or even a skating rink, because we were lighting it up too. when they would turn the lights down low, and it would be like glow in the dark night or something. And all you see is like these kids wearing like these bright ass orange shirts, bright yellow shirts, or like you see like their sunglasses just beaming with so much light. But I'm going to go back through one more time so that you can see what picks you want to have for category 2. So you have the flower crowns and fringe, chokers and high-waisted denim shorts, Supreme and Logo Mania streetwear, and neon Wayfarer sunglasses and tank tops. I think I have to go with the neon Wayfarer sunglasses because I love a good pair of sunglasses, but that time, it was so great. Before we move on to category 3, I do have another story about this, about the Supreme and Logo Mania. There was a time where emojis had made it big. Like, this is like, we had like clothing for like different emojis. Like you had like the 100, like it was like the 100 emoji, the smiling emoji, like the water droplet emoji. It was so many of them. And like you could get it like on like a phone case, you can get it as tape, you can get it as a t-shirt. And like I said, we wore the hell out of it. I personally never had any type of emoji clothing. But again, there was a kid that I went to school with that had the whole fit. I saw 2 people with it. It was a boy and a girl. But they never wore it at the same time because that was just crazy. But the boy came into school one time, literally walking iPhone. I was like, this kid has the whole entire fit. He has the whole entire thing. Like, I can see the same repeated emojis on the front as I can in the back. And even teachers like, oh, you're a walking iPhone. I'm like, it gets to a point. Like, one emoji, cool. But you got 5 all over your body. It's a little unnecessary. But to each their own. As long as you feel good, I guess you look good in that case. Now we're going to move to our 3rd category. This category is called In the News and Social Summer Crave. We're talking about the viral challenges, the smartphone apps, the internet phenomena that completely hijacked their phones and world lives for 2 months straight. If you got your phone hacked at one point, that was your fault. But there was times where they would send links all the time and crash everybody's phone. And they would send messages through Kik. And if you remember Kik, you're a little too old. You can qualify for that pension. But we're going to go through our picks again. So for this one, our first pick is going to be, first option, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. This was in 2014. You couldn't log into anything. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You could not log into anything without seeing everybody and their mamas and celebrities dumping freezing water on their head. And how the challenge would go, you guys have probably seen it recirculate around again with like mental health and everything. But with how the challenge went, you would be like, okay, I'm going to nominate 3 people. You have 24 to 48 hours to respond. And then you would say, this is the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. And you would just get a bucket of ice water dumped on you. And people would always like react to go, oh my God, it's so cool. Like it was the same thing over and over. So the whole purpose of this trend was to bring awareness to ALS. And it is still something that we are bringing awareness to. But this trend, it turned everybody to do it. It wasn't just your neighbors doing it. It wasn't just you doing it. It wasn't your friends. It was like celebrities doing it. It was so many people doing it. And what some people were doing, like if they didn't want to dump the bucket on themselves, they would donate for research for this. And it brought so much awareness to it. And that was like one of the things that like, I'm not going to say I shed a tear on it, but it was like I felt moved by it, like as I think about it now, because everybody came together to spread awareness for this thing. And it's like, it's still wreaking havoc on a lot of lives, and we still need to find a cure for it. And there is a cure. You just got to continue to do our research on it. And that was like definitely a time where some people like they were really going through it. And I had a classmate and she like her mother did have it and everything. And we did a lot to like bring awareness to it. And even to this day, like everyone's still bringing awareness to the things that affect our loved ones, whether it's ALS, Alzheimer's, dementia, whatever it may be. Like we're still doing our best to bring awareness to combat these diseases that no one should ever have to have. No one should be going through this anymore. We should be able to have a cure by now for it. But that is our first one. First option is going to be the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. The second one, some people are going to agree with me on this. The Pokémon Go Summer. This was 2016, where everybody, I don't even know how, the best way to describe it, we were all peaceful for a little bit when this all like happened. Like we saw like in the news, downloaded the apps, and everybody was outside looking for Pokemon. Like there were people gathered at parks at different times just to catch any type of Pokemon. I'm not gonna try to pronounce any names of these Pokemons because I don't want to get them wrong and I don't want to be clowned for it. But like I remember having like, because I had it on my phone, but I didn't have a lot of service, so I took like my little tablet at the time. But I would like get on my bike and I would ride around the neighborhood trying to find Pokemon. I remember having so many like little egghead Pokemons. I think I had like one Pikachu. I had a few, I can't even remember like the names of half of these things. But it was like a purple one, it was like a gas. There was it wasn't a Mewtwo. I can't remember exactly. But I remember like riding around almost to the park just trying to get Pokemon. Because like where my house is, like where it's located, there was a training center right in the middle of the park. And I couldn't really go over there by myself. So I would try to get as close as I could, like in between people's houses, and try to like play Pokemon, like try to play the game over there. There was another one at McDonald's. So whenever we would like travel to like my practices, I would tell my mom, hey, can you slow down just a little bit? I got to go to the training center because there's like a huge battle going on. And I really want this Pokemon. My mom would slow down just a little bit. I would get in to the game. And then she would hit the gas. And I'm like, bro, you're lying. You're joking. So I would be in the training center. I would be battling for this Pokemon. And then my connection would be lost. And I'm like, I could have got it. I could have had a legendary Pokemon. But that was like everybody and their mom was playing this game. And there were people to this day that are still playing. But during that time, everyone played, not just kids. It was adults, young adults. Even the older people were playing. But this was like, it was something. You had to be there for it. Our third one, on my notes, I have something completely different, but I am going to have to change it to where we would probably talk about, I'm trying to think, what other social trends? I would have to say the Harlem Shake. I know I talked about it in the beginning, but the Harlem Shake would be one where I think this was 2011, 2012. And it was the same song. Nothing, I don't know how it started. I just know it started in one spot and it made its way all the way to my school. Everybody in the mamas was doing it. It was a 30-second video. One person would just be doing one normal thing. And then when the beat drops, it would be a transition. Not even transition, it would be a quick cut to everybody doing something crazy. So it'd be one person doing something normal, cuts, and then everybody goes insane and like they're throwing stuff, they're throwing their arms, they're doing the worm, whatever. That was something else. Like everybody did it. I remember we did it in band. I remember we did it for basketball. We did it for everything. And it was all over the news as well. They were like, oh, the Harlem Shake is trending all over the United States right now. We have kids from all over the country doing this dance. And it was insane. And it was like everyone was doing this one dance and no one knows where it came from. But that is our third one. And our last one, this is a little bit closer to the kids now. Not so much me, but like my generation or nothing, but it's like that, like, I don't know, the other kids, but fidget spinners and slime videos. This is summer 2017, but every gas station counter, every Walmart, every Target, everywhere you went, there was 90% fidget spinners for maybe 2 months straight. And they had different kinds of fidget spinners. You had the ones that could, like, they were like the basic ones. You had I don't even know how to describe it. There were so many different kinds of fidget spinners, but everybody had a fidget. Even promotion products, you had a fidget. Everybody and their mamas had one. I had one. My mom got me a green one when I was younger. But that was something. And the slime, I'm not really too fond of it right now, but yeah, like butter slime, crunchy slime, dry slime, people making their own slime. That was a whole trend. But for this one, you have the Ice Bucket Challenge, Pokemon Go, Harlem Shake, and then fidget spinners. Now, for the next category, since this is going to be a long episode, we're going to go a little bit faster on this one. So I'm going to try not to have any stories about this one. But we have category 4 is going to be your iconic summer blockbuster. Now, this is going to be the cinematic event that everyone saw in theaters with friends before heading to the mall or just going out like late night and just going to like a movie premiere. For our first one, we have The Avengers. Now, when The Avengers first came out, everybody was excited to go see this movie. This was the movie that officially locked in cinematic universes as the default summer theater event for the rest of the decade. When it first came out, everyone was ecstatic because you just had Iron Man, you just had Captain America, and now you have The Avengers. It was the best thing that you could see in theaters. And you won't be able to get that experience back, but that was a time to be in. And it's nothing new. Like, even though The Odyssey just came out, it will never compare to how The Avengers shaped how we do the movies now and how everybody expects something to happen at the end. Everyone expects something for the end credits because of them. Our second one is going to be Bridesmaids. This was a movie that proved that adult ensemble comedy should absolutely run the summer box office. You can't go wrong with a comedy. You don't really need a horror movie for everything. You don't really need something that's going to be suspenseful all the time. A good comedy is going to always make or break everything. I love a good comedy. Bridesmaids is really good. You can't go wrong with it. Comedy should always be on there. Our third one is going to be Girls Trip. This was the breakup performance that made Tiffany Haddish a household name overnight. Things have changed since then, but it highlighted her career. It started her career even further than what it was because she's a comedian. But doing this movie, it blossomed in so many ways, and things have happened, like I said, since then, where she's finding her footing again. And I'm sure she'll find it again and everything, but we just have to be patient with it. But that was a good movie. Like, I saw it, I think, twice. It's not a movie for kids, obviously, but I loved, I think it was Regina Hall. I loved her in it. So it made me laugh so much. And I was like, this is pretty good. Tiffany Haddish was like, to me, she's like the Kevin Hart of like movies. Like, she was in everything at one point. And it was like, okay, we get it. You're up and coming. You're doing great. But I don't want to see you anymore. And the last one, people still talk about to this day, it's going to be Inception. This was a movie that left the entire theater arguing, and it made people leave the theater arguing about a spinning top for 3 straight months. I never really watched Inception. I tried to get into it. I just didn't really care for it as much because I didn't have much deep thinking at that time. I don't have deep thinking now. But if you want something that's gonna kind of challenge you a little bit, watch Inception. It's pretty good from reviews and what people have said back then. But for our iconic summer blockbuster, you have The Avengers, Bridesmaids, Girls Trip, and Inception. And you can add your own pick if you want to as well, but those are your 4 choices for that. And I believe for mine, I will have to go with the classic Avengers. So far in my draft, I have Thrift Shop, Neon Wafer Sunglasses, ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, and the Avengers. Now for our last category of our draft, we have the go-to summer beverage or snack. It's mainly going to be drinks because you can't go wrong with a drink, and you need to be refreshed every time. It's not summertime if you're not drinking anything, but these are the iconic drinks and viral snacks that define summer hangouts, beach trips, and road trips. Like I said, I'm not really going to cover snacks just because there's so many discontinued things that I wish they would bring back. Man, I could go for some Yogos right now, but if you don't know about that, you're too young. But our first one is going to be Sonic Slushies and Ocean Water. This had everybody in a chokehold. If you didn't pull into a Sonic stall at 2:15 with 5 people, crammed in a Honda Civic for $1.50 Ocean Waters, you missed out. I think I had Ocean Water once. Not a big fan of it, but a nice little slushie with some nerds in it, that's pretty good. Second one's going to have to be boba or milk tea craze. This was about 3 years of it, but milk tea with brown sugar boba was the official fuel for every mid-2010 summer mall run. This drink had, when it first came out, it was like, okay, what is this? After a while, you're like, oh, I think I like the popping pearls in there because that's pretty nice. It's pretty, it surprises me, but it tastes good. My go-to for any type of milk tea or boba has to be the brown sugar one because that tastes like oatmeal and it's so delicious. It's not too sweet and it's very refreshing on a hot summer day. The third one is going to be the Starbucks Viral Frappuccino. And this one, I'm trying not to do a story time over it, but there was a unicorn Frappuccino and everybody posted it on Instagram. This was Instagram worthy. These drinks, they didn't taste the greatest, but they were specifically built for your Instagram feed. The unicorn one, I hated that one because why was it sour? But it was pleasing on my feed every time I got the chance. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got the unicorn frap. But that was a time in itself. You still have your holiday drinks now, but that unicorn frappuccino was something else because it was like pink, green, with a little bit of white and yellow. It was so different. And for our last point, it has to be, I'm not going to say anything specific, but this one has to be any drink in a mason jar. It could have been tea, it could have been an Arnold Palmer, but any beverage in a mason jar. If it wasn't served in a glass mason jar with a paper straw, didn't even quench your thirst. This drink, my mom went through a little bit of, I don't know what happened in our home, but we got the mason jars. Not just any mason jars. We had the mini ones. We had the normal ones. We had the ones that had little things, little wraparound things on them with colorful little plastic straws on them. Went through a whole thing. Did the drinks taste better? Absolutely. Did it take forever to wash sometimes? Yeah. But we enjoyed the heck out of that stuff. We used to put slushies in there all the time. 10 out of 10, chef's kiss. Enjoyed my summer. But for our last category, you have Sonic Slushies / Ocean Water. You have boba and milk tea. You have Starbucks Viral Frappuccinos. And then you have sweet teas or any drink in a mason jar. Now, I'm going to go back a little bit to talk about the music. I want to add our honorable mentions on that really fast. It's going to be Cheerleader by Omi, Closer by the Chainsmokers, and then Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke. Sorry, I'm getting a little tired over here. But those 3 songs were on repeat summer after summer after summer. Blurred Lines, that song can die. I do not care about it. I don't want to hear it ever again. It's not going to hurt my feelings. It could literally get lost in a vacuum and disappear. Don't really matter. But Omi by Cheerleader, that thing was on repeat. It was on everything. It was on Vine. It was on Dubsmash. It was on everything. But I will say Closer by the Chainsmokers, That was such a good song. That was in my repeat constantly, and it's still in my repeat to this day. But this is a long episode. This is a good episode. I'm not complaining because it's long. Things happen. I'm having a good time. This is probably the longest that I have ever talked in a minute without fatigue. The 2010s, I could talk about that all day, every day. But we do have to wrap it up soon. But not right now. But for the draft, I'm going to go over my picks one last time. I hope that you guys have made some picks as well. Like I said, if you kind of forgot what was what, you can always go back and listen to it again and figure out what was like your ultimate draft. Or if you're like, oh, I didn't like this pick, I want to go back, do it. There's no right or wrong way to do this. But for Anthem of the Summer, I have Thrift Shop. For my viral summer fashion, I have the Neon Wayfarer sunglasses. For the in the news /socials summer craze, I have the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. My iconic summer blockbuster will always be the Avengers. My go-to summer beverage is sweet tea or any drink in a mason jar. Now, we have 6 more episodes left, and this summer has been a memorable summer for me. I've traveled a lot. I met some great people. I have relaxed a little bit. I've worked, but for the most part, I have enjoyed myself. I have upgraded the show in many ways. I have done so many different things. But overall, I can say that this summer, 2026, is one of my favorites. I have a lot of favorite summers, but this is by far one of my favorites because of the growth that I have done recently compared to what I've done the last couple of summers. And I can say, honestly, I'm proud of myself. And if you have grown this summer, I'm proud of you. I hope that you guys are enjoying yourselves. And even though school is approaching soon, don't let it dwell on your summer. Enjoy. You still have a few more weeks to enjoy it. You can have a grand time. You can do whatever it is that is going to get you by. Now, like I said, this is a long episode. And if you made it to the end, congratulations. If you made it to the end, I should have liked this show. Because without you, it's not possible. But I will say track 4 is officially locked in the vault. But before we head back to the present day, we have to hit the Aux Cord. My recommendation this week is an absolute requirement for UQ. It is a definition of 2010 summer energy. Go blast a massive throwback track, which is Can't Feel My Face by The Weeknd, and let it run at maximum volume. If you love this trip down memory lane, hit that subscribe button on Spotify or Apple, leave a 5-star review, and text this episode to the friends you used to make cringy internet videos with in 2013. This show is nothing without you guys, and I hope you guys know that because I say that time and time again, but I mean it. It is nothing without you because it's just me yapping. But follow us at Chicky5. Stay nostalgic, stay safe, and I'll catch you next week for track 5. Stay safe, stay golden. See you guys next time.